Hello, love. Back with more books. Normally go out on Mondays to buy books, but I had a cough. I still have it, but I don't want to be stared at, so I didn't go out with my cough. Today I took 42 cough drops with me, so when I coughed, I could just mask it. Nighttime. Let's get to it. Here's a book for me mother. Zero at the Bone, Bryce Marshall, and Paul Williams. On December 22nd, 1987, ex-Staff Sergeant Ronald Gene Simmons, Gene Simmons, herded his four youngest children up Mockingbird Hill to a ramshackle house in the Ozarks, promising them a Christmas surprise. Leading each of them in separately, he garroted them with a nylon rope. Surprise! Santa's here. Dead. Earlier that day, with a .22 caliber pistol, he had executed his wife, son, and granddaughter. Lastly, he would kill Sheila, the daughter he loved obsessively. What? Who at 18 have given birth to... All right, that's enough. That's your man. I'm going to give up on you, Ronald. Is that his name? Ronald Simmons? Ronald Gene Simmons? Yeah. That's probably crossing the line there, buddy. Oh, yeah, my drink of choice is hot seltzer water with lemon tea and nectarine. Delivered from a Fire King, vintage Fire King, whatever the fuck that thing's called. Measuring. Can't be a measuring cup. I guess it could be a measuring cup. Cheers. Nah, the honey's good. Right Heel Replies, since I don't know what these are, and I bought 3 of them to resell. Might as well just pull them all out together. Radio Replies, first volume, second volume, third volume. Jesus Christ. 1,364 radio replies. Radio replies are questions and answers about the Catholic faith, compiled and published by the famous radio priest Father Rumble and Carly. Father Rumble broadcast from Sydney, Australia, and Father Carly from St. Paul, Minnesota. All right, I'm selling those. I bought them for $0.25 a piece. I think I can get maybe $30 for them. The Closing of Man's History, which is actually called Prophecies of the End Time, by Ludi J. Wright. John the prophet saw a mighty angel come down from heaven, and he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot on the earth, and lifted his hand to heaven and swore. I hope that's the wrong right spelling. By him that liveth forever and ever, that there should be time no longer. Jeffers said it. What's the best life for a man? Never to have been born. In these, the closing days of man's history, I want to share with you the importance of this book. A book about prophecy, Bible prophecy. About prophecy, Bible prophecy. Its fulfillment and what the future holds. Along those same lines, purging your house, pruning your family tree, how to rid your home and family of demonic influence and generational oppression, by Perry Stone. It sounds corny enough, so I got it. Oh, what's this? Lots of underlining, so if I plan to sell it, it will not sell it. What is this? Maybe a credit card. Family Christian. 2016, Taylor, Michigan. Family Christian Stores. Perry Stone. This book, which you don't even see yet, is not as old as it looks. It's some kind of reprinting of Robinson Crusoe. But I bought it for this, the Mylar jacket that's on it, which I will put on one of my books instead. And I can keep the classic just the same. There were a few others of these, but I'll never read Robinson Crusoe. So, that's that. This shit's really good. The honey gives it that kick, buddy. Don't you fucking trip on my table. My bookshelf table. Lenin, a new biography by Dmitry Volkaganov. Dmitry Volkaganov has now demolished the icon. He has, in other words, concluded that there was no salvation to be found in any of the policies practiced by Lenin. No, there wasn't. Communism is death. I mean, what we have here in America, the welfare state, mixed economy statum, is also death, but it's death warmed over so you feel good while you're being cooked alive. But you're not even being cooked. You're just being morally assassinated. This book I kind of just kept because I didn't have time to look through the books at the Salvation Army because I arrived late because I told you I had a cough. So it became close to closing time. They started giving some spiel on the intercom, and I just went up. The Lost Ark of the Covenant. Everyone knows what that is. Book's probably worth about $4, but I only paid 50 cents, so I'll accept that. It goes into the basically conspiracy. Another book I got solely for the Mylar jacket, which I noticed there was a couple books down here. I'm scanning them for my book collection blog that need jackets. Overlord D-Day, June 6, 1944, by Max Hastings. I think we all know what D-Day is. Another book I got solely for the thing. I did pay extra for these. They were $1. I usually don't pay more than 50 cents, but they're in good shape, so the Mylar will stay. And Robert P. Parker has had a precipitous fall, and his books are not really worth shit anymore. They all seem to be about horse racing, or in this case, it looks like a hooker chasing. Look at that. My funeral light up there looks like a flower on the book. Look at that. I love you, funeral light. Anyways, there's 3 Mylars at least in here. This book's the most interesting. Bending the Willow. I don't know if I put that tear in the spine. But when I looked this book up, oh, look at this. I also got this little novena to St. Joseph. Just lying around, so I tossed it in the pile. This sold for 20-some bucks online. I'll probably sell that. Anyway, when I looked this book up, all the copies that were out there were worth $200-300, and so I look, all right, better check the sold ones, and look, and there was one that sold for like $200 and one sold for $100. So I don't know if this is private press. It looks awful private pressy. I don't know if this guy's dead. But, see, my Sherlock Holmes semi-obsession with collecting the books, but not actually reading a single page of anything to do with Sherlock Holmes may pay off, as this book apparently is worth $100 and I paid $0.25 for it. No, I paid $1, that's true. Paperbacks are a quote to hardcovers are $1 at the not Goodwill. What's that fucking place called? Value World. Unsolved Crimes. Another book from me mother. I hope this is not fake stories. It don't look like it is. Yeah, quite the collection of true crime, even though I liked watching the true crime shows, but I ain't reading about it because who gives a fuck? Some years ago, I disturbed the bones of an old murder case. It was unsolved. The man had been convicted, but then freed on appeal, and no one else had subsequently been brought to book. Back in 1931, the Hot from the Hob, the fuck is the Hot from the Hob? Headline had blazed the tale. An insurance agent called Wallace had murdered his drab little wife. Beating out her brains in their cluttered front parlor in Liverpool with such unclerkly ferocity that the walls were streaked, spattered, and flecked as high as the picture rail. Wallace was accused of having devised an alibi of consummate cunning, involving the critical synchromesh, this guy's a fucking wordsmith, of logged telephone calls, word-of-mouth messages, at least 3 tram timetables, and a bogus appointment. Picking it over for a radio program half a century later, a panel of experts agreed that Wallace did not murder his wife. Indeed, could not have done so. Moreover, newly uncovered testimony suggested a different solution and buttressed the case against a different suspect, a much younger man who boasted secret CID connections, a propensity to steal and to dissemble, and who nursed a grudge against Wallace. Yet, amid the excitement of discovery, we discerned an unexpected note of melancholy. It now seemed a shame to spoil a perfectly good whodunit. We had, in a verse, performed the reverse of alchemy and transmuted the burnished gold of mystery into dross. This guy's a fucking champion. Roger Wilkes, who are you? Dross. I just used that in one of my stories, buddy. Mother, you shall like this book, I suppose. Let's get some more fucking seltzer into me. The Wages of Whiteness. I didn't know if this was promoting whiteness or attacking it, but I got it regardless. Race in the Making of the American Working Class. Oh my God, who fucking makes a back cover? Is this drab, like your drab little wife? W.E. Du Bois once observed that low-paid white workers in the USA were compensated in part by a public and psychological wage. All right, that's all I needed to know. This little book, the best of the Destroyer series, Warren Murphy and Richard Sapir. I know these little mass market paperbacks. Maybe I'll show the book. Were popular in like the maybe 60s and 70s. Anyway, I figured an omnibus has to be worth something. Perhaps not. Picked up some cool bicycle cards. Dragon back. They have some water damage, but I shall look at those later. A Lion Among Men by Gregory Maguire. Why the fuck have we gone There we go. Obviously, as I've said before, I've been collecting the McGuire. What's this? Clotilda. I make a difference. Clotilda makes a difference. That's why you end up in a fucking book at my house. Trust me, it didn't make a difference. You're at my house going into the clutter piles. Anyway, I've been trying to collect the hardcovers. I don't know if it's first edition. Maybe I should go after first editions. Give McGregor. Yeah, it is a first. I give McGuire. Why do I keep calling this motherfucker McGregor? I'm gonna give McGregor a little credit there. He's got cool looking books, though. I think I read one page of one of these books, Son of a Witch or something like that, and it was just fucking ridiculous. A Choice, Not an Echo by Phyllis Schlafly. The inside story of how American presidents are chosen. It's not by the Electoral College either, it's by the Electoral College of the Illuminati. I have one lamp by which my feet are guided. Blah, blah, blah. The coming $100 billion robbery. Now this would be good. I want to hear what she says back in 1964. Newspapers will headline stories about the $7 million London train robbery of 1963 and the earlier $1.2 million Brinks robbery in 1950 in Boston. Yet the press is strangely silent about the $13 billion robbery of 1940, 1998 billion, 44, etc., etc. In each of these years, the American people were robbed of their constitutional birthright to a presidential choice. At stake was control of the annual federal budget, which rose from $13 billion in 1941 to $100 billion in 1964. Hell, we give away that much to a fucking TV presenter dictator in Ukraine. The advanced planning and sense stimuli employed to capture $10 million cigarette or soap market are nothing compared to the brainwashing and propaganda blitzes used to ensure control of the largest cash market in the world, the executive branch of the United States government. Most Americans think the next president of the United States will be selected on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. 1964, when we go to the polls to vote, most Americans think they will vote for a candidate who has been selected in their party's political convention by delegates who voted their honest convictions and chose the man best qualified to lead their party to victory. This may be what is taught in the school books, but the idea is frequently contrary to political reality. Since 1936, the Republican presidential nominee has been selected by a small group of secret kingmakers who are the most powerful opinion makers in the world. They have dictated the choice of the Republican presidential nominee just as completely as the Paris dream dressmakers control the length of women's skirts. I think you get what she's saying. It's all a fucking scam. I'm certain she gets to the Democrats at some point too. Who's loony now? Not you, Phyllis. You're dead. But I mean, look at all these places we've invaded or aided in invading, and then we're worried about Russia going into Ukraine on their border after the communists at NATO that repeatedly refused Russia's overtures to join NATO since, the 50s, maybe 40s? 70 years. They've refused to let them in. Why? Because they need a bogeyman. This isn't even fucking minor league conspiracy at this point. It's just stated fact, and people just, let's go cashless. We can merge with machines. Listen, it's over. Robert A. Heinlein, Tunnel in the Sky. I don't think this book's worth shit, but there was a pile of sci-fi books. This is one of the better shaped ones. It's not in very good shape itself, but I grabbed it just because. Adolf Hitler. You know what's really fun? Speaking of Hitler, which has nothing to do with Hitler, week or so back, I was watching some video. I don't know why, but shit always pops up about the Beatles and John Lennon. And then John Lennon was like, back before he got shot in the head and killed, he was like, I like that band with the keyboard player, the piano player that looks like Hitler. And I can't for the life of me think of that guy's name or the band's name. But goddamn, if I didn't look it up, it was some early synth pop band, and the guy looks just like Hitler. John Lennon was not wrong about that. This book, Tarot Court Cards for Beginners, bring clarity to your readings by Lisa Robertson, was situated on a shelf with sports and recreation. So, fuck your spiritual. Oh, look at this shit! A remainder mark on the Gregory Maguire book. That goes against the first edition Creed, buddy. Edgar Rice Burroughs at the Earth's Core. Cover's fucking basically off. I think it's been taped back on. Maybe not. Either way, it's in shoddy condition, but surely a mention of mole people in there somewhere. Yeah, where prehistoric monsters still lived and cavemen and women battled against fierce, inhuman masters. That's our life. How to plan a crusade. And I know people don't believe it, but there will be a second crusade, and it will be against the Christians. Because everyone thinks they're their own little Satan now. I don't really believe that the first crusade was all that bad. Probably killed a lot of people that were like today's people. Not that I'm sanctioning killing, but not exactly frowning upon it either. War is the natural state of man. Am I sounding like a more sober Ezra Pound? And I don't mean in a drinking sense, but Pound liked to think he was some kind of Italian maestro speaking some strange English that he learned out in Idaho. Elizabeth and Catherine, empresses of the Russias. As you can see, the jacket is frazzled. I don't know if this book is worth anything, but it's worth something to me because it goes into my Russia collection, which is basically overgrowing its confines within my... I guess I could just make the other books move spots from the little closet, and that can be my little secret Russia closet. So when the new KGB comes to get me, they'll look and say, hey, look, this guy's got a whole thing of Russian books in there. Yeah. Vice Avenged, The Moral Tale by Lola Burford. An 18th century fairy tale, frankly unserious, frankly unrealistic for a realistic, serious age. Why is it a fairy tale? Because it is an unlikely combination of the novel of manners with the novel of sex. And in it, uninvolvement becomes improved involvement, the inhuman human, and power becomes powerless. They were sitting about in the I can't even read. What's that say? The Raquel? The Raquel Club. What the fuck's a Raquel? Why is this front is ripped out? Bobby frontispiece is frowning right now. I did not notice the frontispiece was torn asunder. Who took the frontispiece from Bobby frontispiece? Anyways, this Raquel's got me. Reminds me of Robert Raquel from the NHL days. Who's this? Is this lady? Vice Avenged, a moral tale is a miraculous novel to encounter today when such literary treats have all but vanished. I bet you this book sucks. But I got it nonetheless. And we're done with this one. Agatha Christie, 5 complete Miss Marple novels. The Miracracked, Caribbean Mystery, Nemesis, What Mrs. McGillicuddy Saw, The Body in the Library. 5 books. Probably worth $10. I can read it when I'm in the gulag. If they allow it. What's it say? Don't think you'll escape next time, motherfucker. That's right. You're not going to escape. Nobody likes you. I like that. Nobody likes you. Well, we got 26-27. All right, that will suffice. Good night. Good evening.